did did write some premium yesterday. We're going to take that recognition, and what we're going to do is we're going to add that onto tomorrow. So we'll just kind of do that recognition together because I don't want to take any time away from our special guest speaker, and I want to make sure that I give him a good introduction. So, first of all, let me tell you why I think that this speaker that we have today with us is somebody that I would love and am looking forward to, and I can't wait for him to speak to our team. Happens to be my personal health coach, my trainer in life, and not just in fitness, but in life. In a lot of ways, I've learned so much from him. And his name is Elias Ghazoul. And Elias and I have known each other for over 10 years. And we started working together in October of 2021. By the way, he's also Clayton Slaughter's coach. He is Andy Batten's coach. He's Matt Park's coach. He's Jason Bratton's coach. The list goes on and on and on. And I've always admired Elias, and we followed each other on social media, and I would see the amazing results that he would get with people. And I found myself last year at a place where, Daisy and I had a baby, and I'm 39 years old, so you immediately start doing the math. And, we have a boy. He's born in August. So, of course, we're in Texas. That means we're going to hold him back a year so he can be better in sports. So I'm like, he's going to be 19 years old by the time that he gets out of high school. I'm going to be damn near 60 years old when he's getting out of high school. Then he might want to go to college, and I'd like to know my grandkids. And I'm looking at my health, and it's just, I'm not a picture of health. I'm a picture of someone who's chasing the convenient. I was working out. I was like trying to sort of eat good here and there. But the truth is that without coaching, without a plan, with accountability, this is what I looked like. I'm embarrassed to show you this picture. So this is what I looked like in October of 2021. And as you can see, there's a lot of advantages to being about 6'3" because a lot of people don't realize how fat and out of shape you are when you're fat and out of shape. So this is where I started my journey with Elias, and it was really kind of happenstance. He and I happened to be talking at the right moment, and I'm telling him, like, listen, I travel a lot, like I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, and he's like, listen, I'm going to make it so simple for you, you would have to try to fail as long as you can execute the plan. And I'm like, execution, I'm game for that. And I want to show you just in 8 months the progress that I made with Elias of working with him and taking his coaching. And I want you to know it's not like I completely took everything away from myself. Like I had multiple Thanksgivings because I got family here, family in Ohio, had a great time in the holidays. But when it's time to work, we work, and he does all the magic himself. It's incredible what he's done. And by the way, this is from a couple of years ago. He is an IFBB Pro, which is the most prestigious bodybuilding organization in the world, International Federation of Bodybuilding Pro card holder, drug-free, certified drug-free, never used any drugs or anything like that to get his physique. It's hard work. It's no shortcuts. It's doing things the right way from A to Z. And I asked him, I said, would you be willing to spend time with our team, which is not something he normally does. He's super busy. He's got a lot of clients, and the amount of attention to detail and coaching that he gives, is really unbelievable. I think it's a great example for anybody that's in a leadership role of how you take care of people, how you make sure you're there for people, because this morning, I think I emailed him sometime around 5:15 in the morning, and by 5:17, I had an answer with a plan. And I emailed him again, and 3 minutes later, I had an answer with the plan. And this is a guy that works out sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day, whatever it takes. And, Elias, you've been such an inspiration to me. You've made such a difference in my life, and indirectly, you've made a difference in my kids' lives and my wife's life. Because of you've given me the greatest gift, which is health, my body. And the better my body works, the better my brain works. The better my brain works, the better decisions I make as a leader. My energy level is through the roof. I didn't even think it was possible to feel the way that I do without drugs. And it's true. I can't feel the way that I do without drugs. The drug, his name is Elias Ghazoul. And for those of you that like a coach that will get you results, that isn't going to sugarcoat, that isn't going to dance around and beat around the bush, but help you to be the best version of yourselves, I would highly recommend that you reach out to him, and I can get you that information. And he'll change your life like he's changed mine. So I asked him to talk a little bit about his story, because I think it's always good to know where someone comes from so that you get a good sense of where they're at now. It gives you context. And then the mindset, the attitude, what it takes to be on your game 365 days a year. And this guy's on his game 365 days a year, and he'll be the first to tell you 300 of those 365 days probably aren't great days, but it doesn't mean that he can't show up and play like a champion. That attitude, Elias, is infectious. And thank you so much, man, for everything you've done for me. And I mean that sincerely. You know, I love you like a brother. I appreciate you. And it means so much to me and to our team that you're spending time with us. So before he starts, if everyone could unmute and welcome Coach Elias Ghazoul.
Woohoo! Go, bro. Elias, welcome. Glad to have you. Go.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Can everybody hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay. If there's any questions, or Mike, you have anything while I'm talking, just please interrupt me immediately. So I want to start off. First of all, it's my first time using Zoom. I've worked with hundreds of clients, and I've never used Zoom before. So if there's any issues at all, just let me know. Okay. Mike, first of all, I want to say, I love you and I appreciate you very much. And I say it to you all the time, but I think it's important for, everybody to know that. I obviously respect the hell out of you. And obviously for this opportunity means a lot to me, because I love helping people. It's what I do. It's what I do every day of my life. And, for me to be here, I thought about it for the last couple of days, and I said, what am I gonna say? If I script something and I write it, I'm not going to be able to say it because it's not coming from my heart. And me, I hate motivational speakers. I hate people that, they want to motivate you, because motivation doesn't exist. Motivation is just a thought. It's a momentarily thing that if you want to do something, you feel that way in the moment. That's it. Tomorrow, you're going to be focused. And then 2 days later, you're going to quit because something gets uncomfortable. When you guys hear me talk, I want you to take some things that I say, which you might agree with, and some things might disappoint you or you might not like, but use it to your advantage. At the end of the day, nothing I'm going to tell you is going to be directed towards anybody in a wrong way. It's just to help you, because it's what I tell my clients. That's why a lot of clients come to me for help. I could sell you something to make you feel special for a day or a week or a month, but if it's not something better for you in the long run, it's going to hurt your family, it's going to hurt you, and it's going to hurt everybody around you. So that's kind of an intro, right? So what I want to start off saying is, guys, you guys have something in your lives right now that not too many people have. And I guarantee you, most of you take it for granted, and it's a leader, okay? Because what created my life and made me the way that I am and live the way that I do, it's the leadership in my life. It started at an extremely young age. I never had a childhood. So you see a lot of kids, 8, 9 years old, they play with their friends, they go out, they have video games. I was training at 11 years old. I was, in sports, but it was like an army. Everything I did, it was militant, the way I live my life. And I know that's not realistic for most people, because we don't live in that era anymore. But it's important, because the leadership that I had in my life from my brother, that is what shaped me to be the person I am. Let me tell you something. When my brother needed a loan for his house, I emptied out my bank account for him. Okay. That's respect and love for the leaders in your life. And if you guys, and this is not because Mike is on screen, this is just really how I feel. And this is why I feel the way I do about Mike. If you guys don't feel indebted to Mike for the rest of your lives, you guys are missing something here. Okay. It's not about him. It's about the leadership. It's what he's created for you guys. And that's what you guys will build on for the rest of your lives. Okay. So, for me, I started, like I mentioned a few moments ago, I started off at 11 years old. I was training, not, going to the gym and doing, I was training full go, because as a kid, I was, they wanted me to be something that I probably didn't want to be. They wanted me to be a professional athlete or whatever, like my brother and my father. And I just kind of went with it. So I never had a childhood. Okay. And so what I did was I followed through with whatever they had in store for me, kind of like what you guys do. You guys have a boss and you guys got to trust them and you got to follow through with them. I put everything, I put my goals before everything in my life, whether it was school, friendship, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it was. I didn't know where I was headed in my life, but I knew that whatever I was doing, I was giving 100%, no matter what. Okay. 15 years old, I had to leave school, 3 o'clock so I can go home and eat, train. That's how my life was, 15, 16, 17. It got to the point where, I was in a relationship. I was 16 years old and I was in a relationship with a girl. And at 15, 16 years old, I was a fully developed man. I looked the same as I do now. And, I had a choice and she told me it's either me or your training. And I told her it's my training. Now think 15 years old, 16 years old, there's nothing really exciting going on in your life. I mean, you don't know where the hell you're going to end up. You're not even in college yet. But I had a burning desire in my heart of what I wanted to do in my life. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to maximize. Okay. So it's all an idea that you put in your head. I want to be this, and you got to live with it. There was no social media back then. There was no, people clapping for you when things are great. I didn't have any friends that I vented to because none of my friends understood. Okay. My friends were playing football. My friends had girlfriends and boyfriends, whatever. I was doing my own thing. Okay. By age 18, I was in college. At this point, I was at my absolute best at the time, and I was going for all-time world records. I was a drug-free athlete, all-time world records in squat, bench, deadlift. There was a record that I was chasing for about 2-3 years. Do you know what happens when you kind of get ahead of yourself and you get cocky and you get comfortable? Because I started believing I was the best in the world. God puts something right in front of you to remind you that you're a human being. And that's when I had my first injury. Okay. And that injury, it humbled me because I no longer felt like I was invincible. And this can be applied to you guys right now in work because you guys make good money. Some of you guys make a lot of money. And you get to the point where that becomes the focus in your life. And if you don't stop for a moment and say, first of all, I'm grateful for the bridge that led me, which is Mike or your boss or whoever it is, and I'm thankful and I want to give back to the world, God will immediately put something right in front of you and he will remind you. Okay. And I had my first injury. I was devastated. Never had a coach, never had anything. I kept pushing it and pushing it. I never recovered properly from it. And I went through that for probably about 4 years of my life before, I think it was like 2012, 2013. I reached a point in my life where there was nothing right going anymore. Right? My shoulders hurt, my elbows hurt. My body was overcompensating. And, I met this young lady, and just like a lot of people do, if you're not happy in one area of your life, what do? You reach out for something to fill that void. Right. And deep down, I knew I wasn't the same person anymore. I wasn't able to chase that dream the way that I wanted to anymore. And this was my life. I put everything behind this. This girl took over. She became the focus of my life. And how many of you guys have a significant other that you guys would probably miss work for? You'd go above and beyond for. Okay. I was with her for 2.5 years. I was ready to marry her. Unfortunately, she was a different religion than me. And if you guys can imagine, that's a very, very tough situation to go through. And I mean, it was a point in my life where literally, if she told me to jump off a building, I would have. I remember I was getting ready to squat 585 pounds for a couple of reps, and my phone was in my pocket, which don't ever put in your pocket, by the way. And the phone rang. You know what I did? I stopped the set. I went and answered her, and I sat outside for half an hour on the phone with her. That's how dedicated I was to her. Okay. So now my whole life was focused on this girl. I don't know where I was headed with her, but I wanted to be with her. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. If that means I was going to change religions just so that I could marry her, I was going to. Okay. So when this relationship started falling apart 2 years later or so, 2.5 years later, there was a serious issue that happened in my life financially. I lost every dollar to my name. Okay. We're not talking about $500. We're talking about a lot more money than that. And my family was in a serious debt. And basically, I hit ground zero. I'll be honest with you guys. I've worked with thousands of people. I don't think there's anybody that has gone through more stress and depression than I did that year of my life. I mean, I never doubted myself. Like I never wanted to do something stupid and hurt myself, but mentally and emotionally, I was done. There's nothing you could do for me at that point to make me feel better. And not one person knew about it. Not one person. Because something that I learned early on in life is that nobody gives a damn about you more than you. So by you complaining to somebody, they might clap for you. They might tell you, hey, it's okay, or everything's going to be okay. That does nothing for me. So I took it to the chin and I kept moving forward. So not only now was I injured, I couldn't follow my dream. And I was also supposed to be a professional world champion arm wrestler. I was really good in arm wrestling. Couldn't do that no more. I basically lost every dollar to my name. So this was deep depression. And then I got a life jacket. I like to call it a life jacket. This is where God sends you what you're asking for. There was an older man at the gym. He was about 65, 70 years old. He comes up to me. I was always very strong. He comes up to me and he says, hey, kid, he's like, you got something very special. Have you thought about competing in powerlifting? I said, well, that's what I've been trying to do, but I've got an injury. And, I'm kind of a shell of a person I used to be. Long story short, this guy kept coming after me. 65 years old. I guarantee if you see him at the gym, you wouldn't even acknowledge him. Okay. Somehow, some way, him and I clicked. I just kept hearing that voice in the back of my head, like this is something. And so this guy convinced me to do a powerlifting meet, even though humbly I wasn't anywhere near where I used to be. To me, it was my first life jacket. Now, when I look back, I say this was one of the greatest opportunities ever. At that same exact time, I woke up one morning and I said, I need to make a change in my life. And I remember getting down on my hands and knees. It was exactly March 2013. So I reached out to somebody you guys might know. His name is Matt Dawson. You guys know Matt? He works for AIL. Okay. So I reached out to Matt and I said, Matt, listen, I need your help. I need you to give me some advice. I need you to give me a nutrition plan to help me. I want to be coached. I don't care what I know. I don't care what I've done in my life. I want to humble myself. I don't know a damn thing. And I want you to kind of lead me. Okay. And he did. And when that guy and Matt worked in unison to help me, that was a second life jacket. Okay. So we got the old man and we got Matt. That was life jacket number 2. I went on to do a powerlifting meet. I didn't do as well as I wanted to, but it gave me life. It gave me hope. Okay. Just like you guys in business. What happens? You guys have a bad month or a bad quarter. And then there's something that happens where you have a great month and a great quarter and everything starts clicking in your lives. Yeah. What happens? You get a little comfortable again. Remember that story about being comfortable and then that injury happening? What happened with me? I started getting a little bit more comfortable, and this girl that I was with, I almost started taking for granted. Now, even though I was madly in love with her, she was no longer the focus in my life. You know what she did? She broke up with me. All right. So I was madly in love, and I was at a point in my life where I was starting to gain that momentum back. And then she breaks my heart. She tells me I can't do this no more because of religious reasons. I had a choice. Because Matt was in my corner, he kept telling me, listen, I believe in you. The power of belief somebody has in you can change the world. I didn't have that belief in myself. As strong as I was about my passions and what I wanted and my confidence, when it came to my next step in life, I was not sure of it. And he looked at me and he said, you have what no other person I've seen has. You need to maximize that. For those words, Matt Dawson, I am indebted to him for the rest of my life. If he asked me right now, give me your house, your keys, I'd give it to him because he saved my life. Doesn't matter what else he does. He could burn my house down. He saved my life. Okay. You don't burn the bridge that led you. All right. So I had a choice. This girl breaks up with me on December 31st, 2014. The next day, I was supposed to start preparation for my first bodybuilding contest. So I've been training at the time, I don't know, 15, 16 years, and I was about to do my first bodybuilding show. I was devastated. Like when I tell you guys devastated, I mean, if a car hit me, I wouldn't care. That's how broken I was. Okay. So not only did I lose all my money at some point in my life, not to, like a year and a half before, and now I lost a girl that, she meant the world to me. So I had a choice. I said, Elias, I never asked her a question. And I said, Elias, I said, you have two options. You could do what every person on the planet would do in this situation, and you could just cry about it, go vent to somebody, not do this contest, or you could just take it to the chin and move forward. What are you going to do, man? You know what I said? I'm going to do what I don't do. I'm going to be uncomfortable. I don't know where the hell it's going to lead me. I'm going to be uncomfortable. Next morning, I woke up, I got on the treadmill, started my cardio, started my diet, closed myself off from the world. I was working with some clients at the time. I mean, maybe, 20, 30 clients at the time. So my life wasn't as busy. And all of a sudden, 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months goes by. I'm getting ready for this contest. And at that time, I was starting to recover from this young lady. She broke my heart. She walked away. And one day I was upstairs and I heard the phone go off. She used to have her own text message tone. And my heart sank. I haven't heard it in 3 months. Okay. I would have done anything to keep it, anything. I looked down at my phone and, she was just telling me, hey, I know you're doing a contest in a couple of days. It's on social media or whatever. I just wanted to wish you luck. And I simply replied, thanks. At that moment, I knew that what was ahead of me, I had already achieved it. I was going to win. I was going in 3 days from now and I'm going to win because even though I can't say I was over her, I was over that pain in my heart because I was prepared for what's to come in my life. Okay. So I went on and I won the contest. And when I won, I actually cried in front of everybody. And people thought I cried because I won. But that's the people that don't know me. The reason I cried was because everything I gave to her for the first time in my life with some guidance, I gave to myself. And not only did I win, I destroyed the contest. That to me was the most humbling feeling ever because guidance and the people that got you there, I didn't do it on my own. It was the people that got me there. All the hard work and adversity, I never gave up on myself. I wasn't chasing a trophy. I wasn't chasing a dollar, nothing. And that opportunity opened every door for me. I got sponsorships. I got my business increased. I had multiple businesses. Both businesses increased. Sponsorships. I started working at a gym with this company. We started training clients in person. Best year of my life at the time. And you know what's funny? That girl came back to me. She got to the point where she said, I can't live without you. You know what I said? This isn't what I want anymore. Sometimes in life, you got to move on. And I'm not moving on because I don't want you. I got to move on because God put me here. So you guys got to take the signs and you got to build off of them. Because if I revert back to that didn't get me anywhere. Okay. You got to move forward in life. If you always revert to what's comfortable, you're going to crash head first. If you're driven by motivation, you're going to crash head first. You got to be driven by what you want. And so from that year, I built my reputation. I built my business. I built everything from 2015. That was the foundational year for me. And then in 2016, what happened? I got comfortable again. And I was prepared for this contest for 18 months. And I lost. And it was the first pro qualifier, meaning if I won, I would have been the first pro in history of this division in the whole world. And I ended up losing. And you know what I did that night? I was dating a girl. It was in South Carolina. I was sitting with dinner at dinner with her at a restaurant. I was devastated because you remember ego, right? Doesn't matter how humble you think you are. With comfort, you start building this ego, whether it's money, whether it's success, whatever it is. And I got comfortable. I thought I was unbeatable. I got my ass kicked. And I sat with her at a table and I ate, the first time in 18 months or 19 months, I had like cake or something. And she looked at me, she's like, really? I said, yeah. Because in my head, I told myself, I'm going to relax for 2 days. I earned it. I'm Elias. Nobody works harder than me. 2 days. Do you know what that 2 days did to me? That 2 days forced me to be, I basically lost all my momentum. And I spent the rest of 2016, 17, 18, 19, trying to regain what I had. Because that fire, that grit, waking up every day at 5:30 in the morning, being the first person at the gym, working with clients, never missing a client check-in. I was that person year round. And then for 2 days, I said, I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to answer emails. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I lost all my momentum. Nobody knew it, but I fell in that deep depression that I was in 2013 again. You look at me and I look great. Everybody's like, you look unbelievable. Deep down inside, I was a shell of a person, what I was. Again, I couldn't admit that to anybody because it was destroying me inside. So I went through 2017 trying to catch up and play and try to get back to where I was. No. 2018, I ended up leaving my girlfriend at the time because I was so unhappy with myself. I started finding reasons. I don't want to be with her no more. She stresses me out. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Just like how you guys might make excuses with work. I don't want to do that. It stresses me out. My dog died. I don't want to show up to work. Broke up with her. I actually cheated on her forcefully because I wanted a reason to get out. And that's the wrong thing to do. You know what happened? Nothing good. 2018 was another bad year. 2019, I got back with her. I apologized to her. This is another girl, so I'm sorry I'm taking you guys in a different picture here, but just giving you a story of what happened with me. Got back with her. I apologized to her. I made a mistake. I'm a man. I made a mistake. I'll never make that mistake again. She forgave me. She's a great girl. And we tried to work it out to the best of our abilities, And, we got through it. 2019 was still a shit year. Nothing good happened there. And then her and I kind of grew apart a little bit. And that's when COVID hit. And meanwhile, I'm working, I'm doing my thing. I don't take any days off. I don't take rest periods. Because in my heart, I still felt like I was that person trying to regain that momentum from 2015, 2016. Okay. But I wouldn't tell anybody. Here comes 2020, pandemic hits, world falls apart. What did I do? I got in my little bubble. I started training again every day at a gym. The owner gave me the key. He said, you come in whenever you want. Nobody's here. Trained every day. That was the year where every client I work with, unbelievable progress. All of them. They're training at home. I work with clients around the world. It's not just here. Everybody started succeeding. And then I started noticing my closest clients, maybe there was like 15 or 20 of them, like very close, kind of like how me and Mike are. They started generating crazy results over a 6-month period. Crazy results. You know what that did to me? It made me work harder for myself. All of a sudden, my best clients started looking better than I did. They started working harder than I did. The excuses were no longer there. Nobody wanted to go out and dick around and party and do all these things. Everybody wanted to get better. So what does that do to a leader? Somebody that is in the driver's seat, you have to show up, right? And what happened? I started working harder. I started supplementing better. When I say supplements, you guys know what I mean, not drugs. I started sleeping better. And before you know it, I was in the best shape of my life again. Holy crap. How the hell did I get back to where I was and better without even realizing it? Because I stopped feeling sorry for myself. Because I stopped telling myself, hey, you deserve a break. You don't deserve a break. What, do you work in a factory? You're doing a favor for yourself and for your family and for everybody around you. You don't need a break. Your whole life is a break. So I looked at myself one day and I said, I'm going to compete at the USA's December 12th, 2020, and I'm going to win my pro card. I'm ready. I'm ready to take what was mine originally, but I was not humble enough to get it the first time. Everything went great that prep. All my clients supported me. Everybody was proud. Everybody was happy. On that flight to Colorado, I was sitting there and I said a prayer and I said, God, I don't know what the hell I've done to deserve this, but this is the best I've ever been in my life in every dimension: money, friends, relationship, whatever, my physique, everything. And then I remembered that I forgot my trunks at home. And you know what? If you forget your trunks at home, you're going to look like shit on stage. You don't have anything to wear. So I said, I'm not stressed out. I don't care. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Thank God. I always wear a cross. And I said, thank God I'm good. We'll find a way. I opened my suitcase and there was a pair of blue trunks laying there it was from my first contest. Never put them there. I swear to you, I never put them there because I didn't even know where they were. I said, I'm going tomorrow. I'm showing up and I'm winning. And guess what? I won. And when I won and they handed me the trophy, think about it. There's only 5 pro card winners, over 500, 600 competitors. They handed me that trophy. it didn't mean anything to me because I had already won before in my heart. You got to be confident. You got to be accepting of who you are and what you're capable of doing. Now it's something in my hand to prove it. You understand? So a champion is somebody that believes they're a champion way before they ever reach that point. And so when they handed this to me, I had a normal, look on my face. It was not a big deal. But deep down inside, that was the happiest moment of my life. You know why? Because I did it in a time where adversity was at its highest. And everybody that I was working with, they all felt the same way I did. They didn't give a damn about excuses no more. They didn't care anymore about, what's hard. People wanted to survive. They were scared they were going to die at that point. So that was a turning point in my life, because once I accomplished that, I had accomplished at 32 years old, I could honestly tell you, I've accomplished everything I've wanted in my life. There's nothing out there that I haven't accomplished that I wanted to. If you tell me right now, hey, your life is going to end in 6 months, I tell you, hey, I'm thrilled, man. I just don't have any kids. That's another thing. Why don't I have kids? Why don't I have a wife? A lot of people, Mike doesn't even know I have a girlfriend. I do. Why? Because to me, in order for you to generate a family or kids, you have to make them a top priority, the priority. And if you are not ready to do that, you cannot. So to me, my life and what I'm doing is my one priority, and my clients. That's two priorities, but it's one, because it works in unison. So that's very important, because, if you are just somebody that is chasing something, you're just going to fit in. If you're not somebody that takes initiative with what you want in life, and you go after it, and you use your leaders or use the person that got you there to your advantage and get to that destination, you are just like everybody else. You're just going to blend in with everybody else. How many of you guys, I don't even know anybody on here except maybe 2 or 3 people, but I could tell you that most of you guys won't survive at some point in this field. Why? Because some of you, why? Because a lot of you guys rely on comfort, because once things get hard, you're going to throw in the towel. And what does that make you? That makes you like everybody else. I work with hundreds of clients, hundreds, not 20, 100, 150, hundreds. And I tell them, every single one of them, the same thing. I don't give a damn if your house blew up. I don't care if your dog took a shit on himself. That has zero impact on the decision that you make in your life. I train twice a day. I run 3 businesses. I don't have a day off. 7 days a week, I'm working. I don't know what a vacation is. I've never gone anywhere except when I competed. For what? Because I'm focused on what I want. If you are somebody, and guys, really take my advice on this, because my clients are just like you guys. They listen to me, they trust me, they're present with me. If you guys do not go after what you want and weather the storm when it's a bad day, just don't feel good, you're just not in the mood, you want to go out with your significant other and drink, and you're just going to be like everybody else. In everything that I did in my life, I'm going to tell you why I did it. I didn't, just like how I started the story, I didn't know where I was headed in my life. When I was 13 years old, my brother, he wrote me a letter. He told me, this is the guy that raised me. This is the guy that took care of me. This is the guy that molded me to be what he thought was best. He said, where you are going in life, eventually I'm not going to be able to follow through. And I'm going to have to free my hand. You're going to have to be on your own. Do something with it. Don't waste it. So every day of my life, every day, throughout my teens, early 20s, college, that stuck with me. And I had to carry through. And everybody doubted me. Everybody. My own brother, he got to the point where he doubted me. He looked at me and he said, what are you doing this for? I didn't respond. Because it doesn't matter what people think. What matters is, what do you want to do in your life? If you don't have meaning in your life for what you want, you're going to fall for anything, man. Do you know how many people I've seen in my life that I used to look at and they were rich? And my parents weren't rich. My parents, we were barely making paycheck to paycheck. They'd go on vacations every week. I used to cry in front of my dad and say, you're a terrible dad. I want to go to Disney World. And now I look at them, they all come to me for help. They're all fat, miserable. They feel like shit. Same kids that I used to be envious of when I was a little kid. Why? Because I stuck to what I wanted in my life, and they burned every opportunity in theirs. And whether you're 18 years old, 12 years old, or 50 years old, it makes no difference because we all make those bad choices. So you guys have something that most people don't. And I've worked with, I could probably say a couple hundred AIL people. There's a couple guys in particular, and Mike's one of them, that irreplaceable. I mean, you guys can't replace them. And you guys have a cheat code because you have somebody that works for you guys. You guys don't realize it, but he works for you guys. And it's just like my brother did for me. He was at every practice. He was at every contest. He was at everything I did in my life. And guess what? He was better than me. He was bigger. He was faster. He was smarter. He's better looking, everything. But he didn't have the one thing I did. And that's dedication. Think about it. How many people do you guys know that probably have way more than you? Who cares? Beat them in things and areas that they can't. And it's things that only you can control. Because look, there will be a time in your life where money's not going to matter no more. And I'm talking to you from experience. I'll get a client that pays me thousands of dollars. Sometimes I forget they paid me. Money don't mean nothing. What matters? So what do you do in your life? How do you make people feel around you? What is the success you generate to the person that got you there? Because you guys are a team. Mike doesn't do anything for himself. You know what my conversations to him half the time are? It's about him having to take a step back because he's working too much. You think Mike is working too much to make more money because he's broke? No, he wants to see you guys succeed. And for me, when I see somebody like that, believe it or not, when I put my head to sleep, I'm like, I need to work harder. And if you guys don't appreciate that, you guys are going to get a reality check one day down the road. And again, this isn't directed towards any one person. This is very general because I feel this way about my own clients. If you have something great going in your life, you ride it till you burn the tires off, till there's nothing left. Because if you don't, I swear to you on everything that I love, you will reach a point in your life where you say, that's the biggest mistake I've ever made. Why? Because you had a choice and you burned it. You had a choice and you burned it. God gave you a choice, everything you do in your life, and you burned it. My girlfriend, she asked me, she said, there's nothing I do for you that makes you happy. If I cook for you, if I clean for you, if I have sex with you, but nothing makes you happy. What the hell do I got to do to make you happy? You know, I tell her, if I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror and I don't like how I feel and what I see, there's nothing in the world that anybody can do for me. And guess who controls that? I do. That's it. The only thing in life you can control is yourself. You can't control your wife, your husband, your daughter, your money. None of that matters. You don't need it to matter. Only thing you can control is you, your output, your decisions in your life. That is what makes you who you are. I get people all the time. I work with the FBI director. I work with the COO of Microsoft in the UK. I work with some top professionals. When they contact me and they tell me, thank you. When they, they're with family or dinner and they stop that dinner to answer my call, that means the world to me. That means more than any dollar amount you can put on this. Do you know why? Because I realize, you know what, Elias, you've done a good thing for people and people respect you for that. I don't give a damn if people look at me as the nicest guy in the world, because that's not going to get you nowhere. But if you look at me and you say, this guy, he changed my life. He made me better. Not by a stupid motivational talk or some pep talk I gave you, but by the direction that I led you. By me telling you, get your ass up and go to work because nobody gives a damn. That means the most to me. And guess what? I got clients with me from 2014, 2015. They don't leave me. Do you know why? Because they tell me, you do everything for us. You lead by example. We're a team. There's no price tag on that, guys. So I hope I haven't talked too much, but I will tell you this. Look, I want to close this off by talking a little bit about how what I do is kind of similar to you guys in a sense. the way I live my life every day, I'll be honest with you, I don't have a life. Nothing. There's nothing. I got a closet right now full of about 250 Air Jordans. You could probably buy a brand new house with it. Does nothing for me. I don't get to wear them. I don't go nowhere because I'm with clients. I'm working all day long. Why don't I take time off? I could right now retire, sit on my ass, and I could live like a king for the rest of my life. Why don't I? Because if you get comfortable, you're going to lose everything. It's like the first time I ever failed, and the second time, and the third time. Comfort is your biggest enemy. And so when I get up in the morning at 5:30 and I got my first 15, 20 emails from clients in Europe, I know that how I start the day is going to determine how the rest of my day goes. So I respond to them and I'm fully awake and I'm there for them presently. There's no days off. They don't care what I'm going through. These people are paying me a lot of money to help them. They invested in me, just like how you guys invest in one another. And I know that if Mike or Steve or Cindy or whoever, they start getting lazy and they start giving me these check-ins like, hey, I'm having a bad day, you are weakening me and you're weakening everybody that knows you because we don't have time for that shit. Okay. People feed off each other. You are a product of your environment. So if you guys don't believe that you need to be on your game every day of your life, you're going to crash, man. You're going to crash head first. I've worked with so many of AIL guys. Let me tell you this. Most of them, not you guys, but a lot of the other ones, they have this belief that, you know, they can kind of cover up their real work ethic by what they do in the business field. You are what you do every day. And the one way you do the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you look at a boss and he's fat and sloppy and doesn't take care of himself, how the hell are you going to work for them? That's who they are. But if your boss or your leader, whoever, they're there before you, you're not allowed to take a day off. Because in order for you to be like that, you have to put in your time and you have to put in the respect. And that's how I've lived my whole life. When somebody older than me, doesn't matter how big I am, doesn't matter how, when somebody older than me talks to me, I tell them, sir. I don't call anybody by their first name. And there's a respect you give to people around you. And I want you guys to really think about that, because it doesn't matter how big you are in life or how big you get, or if you make $50 million a day, it's not going to change a damn thing. It's what you do every day in your life. It's the respect that you earn from people, and it may be the respect you don't earn from people. I'd rather live like a bum, broke, I have nothing, but I earned everybody's respect, because that's gonna be what people remember you by. So yeah, guys, I mean, I probably talk way too much, but it's really how I felt. I didn't script anything. I didn't write anything down. I kind of went off, and, you know, I just wanted to share that message with you because I've always wanted to share that with people. I've always wanted to share what I've kind of gone through in my life. You know, I tell people I'm like Highlander. I'm like 300 years old. I've seen so much in my life. You know, no money. I lost everything. You know, girl, I was ready to friggin' jump off a building for her. You know what? I'm living my best life right now. Why? Because I made that decision to. I wake up every day and I say, there's not a goddamn thing that's going to get in my way. You have to be an animal. You know, Darwin wrote a theory 200 years ago. He said, survival of the fittest. That still exists today. Except back then he was referring to animals, but realistically, it's within us humans. When I look at a client or somebody that checks in and they give me an excuse, they write me this long, 4-paragraph email, means nothing to me. You either want to get it done or you don't. That's how life works. Life is that simple. You're either a hard worker, you're disciplined, you have that fire to be what you want in life, or you're not. You're either a leader or a follower. There's no in between. Doesn't matter how much money, how much, fame. If you don't have grit, you don't have anything. So, yeah, guys, that's how I feel. So, if you guys have any questions, Mike, if you have anything to say, please.
Elias, that was everything that I had hoped for. And I want to thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing so many personal failures and You know, it's not easy to share those types of things, especially with a group of people that you don't know. And you know, I'm already getting, you know, hit up by people saying, "Can I get his contact information? I need to get my health in check. I need to get my health in order." And what I would remind people is what he talked about today might have related to health, but they're all mindsets. And that transcends health. That goes into business, into your personal life, into your relationships, into everything that you do. And I appreciate you so much for sharing that message with us and taking time out of your schedule, because you are go, go, go from 5 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. I mean, it's incredible what you do 7 days a week. I mean, to the point where guys, like if he came to my daughter's birthday party, he had to put a message on his social media like, "I'm not available from 2 to 6 on Saturday, but as soon as 6 o'clock hits, I'm available all night." You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how serious he is about what he does in his business. And this was not to advertise your business. This was out of the goodness of your heart of wanting to share a good message with the team. But what I will tell you is that you will never know how bad you feel until you know what it feels like to feel good. And so I would encourage anybody that is serious, don't waste time. You know, Elias says that when people ask me how much does he cost, just tell them, just tell people I'm expensive and I'm tough. And have them contact me. And if they don't want to contact me, don't tell them not to contact me. It's all good. So if you guys want to work with Elias, he's expensive and he's tough, but he will get you to be your very, very best. And you know, we just got a little small snapshot. I encourage all of you guys to follow him on his social media, on his Instagram. He's always putting up stories, and there are things that relate so well to our business. So, you know, I can't thank you enough, Elias. Thank you so much. Thanks for all you've done for me personally, and thanks for everything you did for the agency. His handle is Elias Ghazoul, I think, right? Or is it Natural Nutrition Coaching?
It's Elias Ghazoul.
Elias Ghazoul on Instagram. ELIASGHOUZAL.
Oh, right. I can write it here once I can figure out how to use this.
Yes, there it is. Sorry, I didn't say it out loud.
Yes,
At Elias Ghazoul. Okay.
I love you, Mike. Thank you, man. It's an absolute pleasure to be a part of this, and you know, I hope you guys
we got to do it again.
Something out of it. Absolutely.
We got to do it again. Love you too. All right, guys. You guys can unmute and show your appreciation. Let's go crush it.